welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, well-known radio sports personality Bruce McGowan, and Vern Glenn of CBS affiliate KPIX TV in San Francisco. Today's show is going to be kind of interesting because we are going to have a special guest, Mike Shapiro, who is president, general manager, and owner of a minor league baseball team called the San Rafael Paciifcs here in our hometown in San Rafael, California. And we're going to get into it with him about what it's like to own a minor league team. You know, is there any money in it? What does it cost? How much they pay the players? All that kind of fun stuff. So you'll learn all about what it is like with minor league baseball. And we're going to have trivia questions at each commercial break, sports trivia questions. And we're going to be giving away vacations to the first 3 emails with the correct answer. And we're also going to give you a chance to answer these questions all the way up until July 18th to answer. So make sure that you send us an email, Edward at SportsEcon101, the answer to the questions. And if you're within the first 3 emails with the correct answer, you'll win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort and Marina, which is located about 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. And the vacations are free. Their only request is a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. And you can listen to Sports Econ 101 on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Sports Byline USA, and CRN, amongst other terrestrial stations. Listen to actually go to your station manager and see if they'll carry our show. We're in, gosh, I don't know how many states, how many stations all around the country. And let's see, what else? We're going to talk just a little bit about the Germany blasting Brazil in the World Cup. And today's trivia theme is going to be the movie Major League. We have 3 fun questions about that movie. This segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding 8% secured by real estate. Check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back with our guest, Mike Shapiro, general manager, owner of the minor league baseball team, San Rafael Pacifics.
The 4 of us, there's not going to be any dead air.
Yeah, that's right. That's all we care about. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Give ourselves 5 seconds of silence. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
I'm talking to you,
and
you.
And Bruce McGowan.
Nice to be here.
All right, we have a special guest in the studio here, Mike Shapiro, who is president, general manager, and owner of a minor league baseball team called the San Rafael Paciifcs.
Also cooks the hot dogs, lines the field, does everything. The guy's all over the place.
Mike, welcome to Sports Econ 101.
Thanks very much. Glad to be here.
Okay, excellent. Tell us exactly the different roles of being president, general manager, and owner, and then we'll get into exactly how you got into
It's a lot of hats.
It's a lot of hats to wear. In the minor league business, that is sort of the standard operating procedure. You have to wear a lot of hats, partly because you just don't have the financial resources that you might have, certainly at the major league level, but even at the higher affiliated level. So in independent ball, which is where the Pacifics are, the
Let
owner.
me interrupt you for a
Yeah,
second.
go ahead.
But you're not paying those $120 million contracts.
That's a good point.
No, he's giving opportunity.
There you go. Yeah, that's true. Go ahead.
To a lot of interns who work for free, of which I appear to be one. So as president of the team, I'm responsible for overseeing all the business operations and keeping an eye on the finances. As general manager, my responsibility is to put a team on the field. As owner, I'm responsible for writing a lot of checks.
Now, we should point out one of the things that Mike has done, and you note this, listeners and people who follow baseball, is he's worked in the front office with the Giants, with the Braves, with the Washington Nationals. So you had that experience, and how much has that helped you, Mike? Because this is a much different level, obviously. As you mentioned, there are limitations.
Well, it's helped tremendously, Bruce. In part, I did it in reverse. Most people cut their teeth on working at the minor league level. I seem to have climbed the ladder to the bottom rung, but was able to take all the experience I had with those 3 major league clubs and a number of other career stops along the way, and and bring it down to a very elemental level, and to take it into a small ballpark with a small staff and in a small market, and be able to recreate what baseball was like when its roots were first beginning.
Well, you actually have the advantage of the fact that you had been in the Major League Baseball arena versus someone who, let's say like me, who just loves baseball and saying, okay, I think I'm just going to start a league, start a team. I mean, I wouldn't know where to start on something like that.
Well, there are a lot of commonalities, and there's a lot of differences. The commonalities are generally the purpose of the business is putting people in the seats. And once you've got them in the seats, you want to sell them a hot dog and a T-shirt. That doesn't change much. And my mentor in this game is a guy named Stan Taston, who was president of the Braves when I was there, and was president of the Nationals when I was there, and he's now president of the Dodgers while I'm not there. And Stan teaches the gospel of the three pillars of our business, and it's something I learned from the major league level, and it works as well at the major league level as it does here at the very lowest independent league level, and that is pillar number one is put a good product on the field. You're not going to win the championship every year, but at least be consistently competitive and put a team of players out there that people enjoy watching.
Well, yeah, it's got to be good baseball.
Yeah, it's got to be
have
good baseball.
so many errors and stuff that or mental lapses that the people don't enjoy it.
And as we were talking with Vern when we were off air, the quality of baseball is very good.
It is good.
It's probably between single A and double A level baseball. The second pillar is to give the fans a great experience, and then I think we do that. We do great customer service. The ballpark is always clean. It's safe. The food is great, and I say that only because my wife does all the cooking.
Hopefully she's listening.
Yes, and that we have on-field games for kids, and we have a wiffle ball field for the kids. So it's a great fan experience. And thirdly, the third pillar is we integrate the team really well with the community, and we take the players out to the hospitals. We go to the senior centers and to the community centers, and those are the three pillars of operating at the major league all the way down to independent league. And I learned that from Stan, and we're using it very effectively today.
Well, one of the promotional ideas that you had, and we were talking off air before, that you actually had come up with this idea. It was based on the movie A League of Their Own, and you actually go ahead and get into exactly what you did.
Well, again, just in sort of a macro level, you gotta at our level, you have to rise above the rubble. You have to be able to give people a reason to come out to the ballpark.
Not just hat day or bat day,
Yeah, that's already been done.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that had already been done, a lot of major league clubs and minor league clubs had, created a breast cancer awareness event every year, and they used the pink bats or the pink wristbands. And I took a look at that, and I said, well, that's been done.
Yeah.
I want to do something different. Want to do something that creates some buzz and does something both to raise awareness and do some fundraising, but also create some buzz around the Pacifics. And so the idea came around that, gee, why don't we celebrate the women who played professional baseball during the 1940s like they depicted in the movie A League of Their Own, and also do something for breast cancer awareness. And when you sort of merge those two ideas together, we decided to put the players in a replica of those dresses that they wore, and those poor women had to wear to play professional baseball in.
And you were saying that the guys actually not only didn't mind it, they kind of got into it a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, when we first raised the idea in spring training with them and said, look, we're going to do this promotion. We hope you'll embrace it because it's for a really good cause, and there's a lot of good reasons to do it, but that if anybody had a substantial problem with doing it, come see me confidentially, and we'll work something out. And
so when they got introduced, they all curtsied.
Would you say that's one of your most innovative ideas?
Well,
as far as promotion goes?
I'd say that one, and the bidet game that we had was pretty good. We gave away a free bidet.
I like the plumber's helper one where you had everything. That to me is very practical. If you have a stopped-up toilet, you don't have a plumber's helper, you're in trouble.
Well, now you have a Pacifics.
Yeah, I do.
That was our salute to indoor plumbing day, and so we did a funeral giveaway, and
wait, a funeral giveaway?
Yeah, we gave away a free funeral to one lucky winner, and as it turned out, this is I guess bittersweet in a way. As it turned out, we asked contestants to write up their own obituary, and we would award the funeral to the best obituary. So this guy wrote this very heartfelt obituary, and he the day of the game, we awarded it to him, and he pulled me aside with tears in his eyes. He said, "You don't know what you've done for me. I'm dying."
Wow.
Oh my God!
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And he was like so happy.
oh my
Not to
God!
be dying necessarily,
Yeah.
but that we were able to give him his funeral.
Is he still? This
So-
was last
so
year.
when-
Is he
so
still?
when he's
Yeah.
so when he's gone, it's on the San Rafael Pacifics.
Yeah, how does it work? Did you buy him a plot?
Oh
Or
no,
an
we
urn?
gave him a gift certificate.
To the local.
Must be present to win it.
But is he still around? Is he still alive?
I honestly don't know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't
that's
know.
that's nice though. That I mean that
At least
sounds.
he could be buried with the hat. You know,
Yeah.
the old San Rafael Pacifics hat.
There you go.
You know,
Yeah.
if you gave away
Yeah.
a Mercedes, you could get a lot more attendance. No, I'm just kidding. Does anybody ever make money? Because I know that like players only make what, about $600 a month.
Our salary cap for the whole season is $45,000. Now there are probably some major league players who make that per pitch.
Oh,
but-
yeah. So that actually is a cap within the league.
Yeah, you can spend $45,000 for the 3-month season. So it works
Some
out to
players
be-
have that in their lockbox.
Yeah.
And
Well, I was
their
going
locker.
to say, I'll
Yeah.
bet the owners get together, kind of well, let's make sure we don't make this too much. Tell you what, stay with us, Mike. We're going to cut to our first commercial break, and the theme is the movie Major League. You think you know the movie? Well, we'll see. All right, here's our first trivia question. In the movie Major League, what ballpark are the Indians' home games filmed in? All right? Listen to the question carefully, all right? The first 3 emails with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to this question. In the movie Major League, what ballpark are the Indians' home games filmed in? And we're doing a little something special here. We're going to give people until July 18th to answer. And we're going to take the first 3 emails with us. Yes, we are going to give the answer when we come back from the break, but we'll work with it, okay? Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
I think it was County Stadium, wasn't it? It was Milwaukee. I thought because Bob Uecker was the announcer.
Bob Uecker,
That's
yeah.
right.
Just did it outside.
Just did it outside.
Mike, one thing I forgot, and you're really good about this. The one thing we've got to do with the mics, try to stay like this or go like this. You'll notice
Yeah.
that if you go like that,
Yeah, you lose it.
Well, you're lucky because you've got a voice like Vernon, like me, that projects
no, it's
well.
fine.
We boom.
Hello.
See, I thought most people would just go ahead and
Yeah.
say Cleveland Municipal Stadium.
No, it's too big to mistake by the lake. That place is.
Yeah.
I always think of football though when I think of that place because it's just so huge. I think it's.
I think a kite.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, he had some great moments there.
One great moment.
Well, the home run, yeah. But I think he said when Len Barker pitched the perfect game that he was so afraid that they were going to hit the ball to him, he was hoping it would hit somebody else, and they did, of course. So only 9,000 people who saw that game too.
Wow.
That's so sad about Cleveland. Only one championship in the last, 1964, the Browns. It's our last championship. Indians haven't won since
Yeah,
48.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
the Cavs have never won.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
think about 54. You know, they were
Yeah.
111 wins,
Yeah.
and then boom, they
Giants
get blown
just-
out by the
yeah.
Giants.
Giants just wiped them out.
Are the A's ever going to lose another game?
Oh man, I went last night. I mean, they are
Jeez.
just playing so well.
Woo!
What's the last like 15 game?
Well, they're 21 out of the last 28, I think.
And they just added 2 frontline pitchers.
And they-
Yeah, I know. The rich get richer.
Really?
Yeah. That was
Woo!
a coup. Boy, that
That
was
was
a coup.
huge.
Billy Bean, man.
Yeah.
Billy
That was a-
freaking Bean.
It was like when you guys in '87 when you picked up Mitchell,
Yeah.
Lefferts, and Dravecki, and
Yeah.
then Russell, and then Robinson, all within about a month. That pretty much cinched the pennant, or did the division, I should say. Well, the pennant.
You'll if you know the movie, you'll get the other 2. One of them's easy.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vernon Glenn and Bruce McGowan.
Yes,
And we have
yes.
a special guest, Mike Shapiro of the San Rafael Pacifics, who he's the owner, president, and general manager of a minor league baseball team. Before we get back to Mike, though, we want to answer the trivia question. First trivia question was, in the movie Major League, what ballpark are the Indians' home games filmed in?
Bruce?
Yeah, well, that was County Stadium, and the reason for that was it's a much smaller ballpark. It looks more like a minor league park the mistake by the lake, the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium is huge. It's
Yeah,
cavernous.
that was
It
large as
seats
well.
like 70,000. So
that way they would get a lot of fans.
yeah, you could get the extras to come in. You get 10,000, and it looks, you take a shot here, and it doesn't look like it's a small crowd.
And for those fans of Milwaukee, the county stadium is in Milwaukee with Bob.
Bob Uecker was the play-by-play announcer in the movie. Yeah, that's right.
Very good.
And remains to be the play-by-play announcer today.
That's true. Yeah, he's hanging in there. He is.
I tell you, some of his stuff is so funny. He goes, I knew I was finished when my baseball card came out and there was no picture on it.
Have you had any encounters with Bob Uecker ever, Mike?
Yeah, I met him a few times, and he's one of those guys who's just as funny when you meet him in real life as he is, when on the air or in movies. He's a real character and absolutely beloved in the industry.
I got a story. I was actually at a Brewers game once, and this is Old County Stadium, and they put the out-of-town media just outside of the press box on this deck that's just right in front of Uecker where he sits. And I was working in Baltimore at the time, and in '89, it looked like Toronto and Baltimore were going to be on like a head-on collision for the final game of the season. So the station I worked for had a little money, so they sent me on the road with Toronto. So Toronto was playing the Brewers in Milwaukee. That's why I was there. Well, I'm there, and somebody had missed his at bat, and I'm trying to chart the game, and I really didn't know what was going on, and I was like, wow, somebody forgot to bat because they skipped the guy, and I turned to Uecker who's doing the game, and I look at him and I go, did somebody at bat? I kind of like mouthed it, and then Uecker's like, oh no, and then 30 seconds later, hey fans. I'm looking at my score sheet.
So somebody batted.
I don't think Bob Burley went to bat.
Yeah, he was. Did they catch it?
No, they didn't.
That doesn't happen too often.
Yeah.
Usually the manager's right on it.
Yeah.
So we're here in the studio with Mike Shapiro, owner of the Santa Fe Pacifics minor league team, and I was going to ask you that. How often does somebody get looked at by scouts? I mean, I guess, how does it work? You guys have your own scouts, or people come up to you and say, hey, I think I can play baseball? I was teasing Billy Bean. I said, if any of the guys get hurt, I can still throw in the high 60s. He said, thank you, we'll call you later. Go ahead.
Well, you asked two questions. One, do scouts look at our players? And secondly, how do we scout players to find them? I'll answer the second one first. But we have a network, obviously, of people that I certainly know for having been in this business for about 30 years. And I'm constantly getting people's, referrals for players that they think can, play at this level. You get a lot of guys coming out of college who think they can just immediately go from college to pro ball, and it's not quite that easy. You'll also see a lot of guys coming down who have been up to affiliated baseball and either got bounced out for one reason or another, and a lot of times it's injuries or, it's just a numbers game.
Well, do you ever get somebody who you look at and you say, holy smokes, this guy actually belongs a level up?
Yeah.
What's he doing here?
Yeah, we have a couple of guys like that right now. And that answers sort of your first question, and that is, do our players get scouted? And the answer is absolutely yes. We're constantly being asked about, sending players up to both higher levels of independent ball, but also to affiliated ball. And we have Diamondback scouts coming out. We have Seattle scouts are around quite frequently, from West Coast type teams where they can send their scouts out pretty easily.
And the age of the players is vast. Now, a lot of, we're from the hometown here, so we know, for the fans around the country who are listening to the show who don't know, Bill Spaceman Lee, who's probably, about 130 years old now, is he going to try to go back up to the major leagues? But anyway, he did pitch. Was he 65?
Yeah. He was the oldest. He's in the Hall of Fame for this. He was the oldest man to win a professional game. He pitched a complete game for us at the age of 65.
That's a little better than Satchel Paige. Right?
Yeah, and then last year he played all 9 positions for us.
Oh, that's right.
And then this year we're going to retire his number, and he'll play, and he's actually going to join our front office and help us out. And having Bill around is just such a treat.
And some things that a few people might not know is that when Bill Lee was in high school at Terra Lena High School locally, I believe he pitched a no-hitter on that field
At Albert Park, yeah.
where the Pacifics play.
And
Yeah.
he'll be the first to tell you about it. He remembers
Well, of
every
course,
bit.
yeah.
I got to ask Mike because you mentioned Bill Lee. There are so many great stories. The guy that always intrigues me on your team. He's been there all 3 years. Is the kid? He's not a kid. A young man from Cuba, Mikhail Hova, very soft-spoken. Can you tell us his story? Because it's really an incredible story. Your right fielder.
Yeah, he's a fascinating and he's a wonderful guy. But Hova twice tried to escape from the island of Cuba so that he could realize his dream of playing professional baseball in the United States. First time he was caught by the Cuban Coast Guard, and this was on a raft, by the way. And second time he went and did it again on a raft, and he made it to the Dominican Republic, which is I think 90 miles away or so, and then made it back into affiliated ball in the United States, and all the way up to AAA with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Wow.
And so he made it very nearly to the top levels of this game, and now he's 33 and he's a player coach for us. He still leads the league every year in RBIs. He hits in the middle of our lineup, and one day I could see him being a manager.
Now, his parents still live in Cuba, and he sends money home.
Wow.
Yeah, he sends money home, and he had not seen his family for 14 years.
Wow.
And this was last winter was the first year Cuba allowed him to come back to see his family.
And not keep them there. I mean, let them come back. So the average player, is that true? It makes about $600 a month during the season?
Yeah, I mean, our rookies make $500, and our top players make about $1,200 or $1,000.
Okay.
So it's in that range.
And then don't you have like home families where they stay in? Which is
Host
kinda-
families.
Host
Yeah,
families,
host
yeah,
families.
which is kind of neat because you get to for those families. What do? They contact you, or you put it? How do you put the word out there?
Yeah, we do a lot of arm twisting to some extent to get people to bring a player in for the summer, and they're there for 3 months, and it's a wonderful experience, especially if it's a family with some kids who play baseball, and to have a pro player in their house for the summer, it's great, and we've had nothing but really good feedback and great experiences.
During that 3-month period, are they just doing baseball, or they have some of them like need a second job?
No, these guys are professional ball players. They are at the ballpark usually around 1:30, 2 o'clock every day, and they'll play. A night game starts at 7 o'clock, and so they'll get home probably 11:30, 12 by the time they get out of the clubhouse, and they got to strap it on again the next day. So there's not a lot of. There's a couple guys who have day jobs, but not very many.
Yeah, I was gonna say obviously that's why they have to have a host family. Do they also feed them?
No, well, the host family is not responsible for feeding the players, but we feed them both a pregame. We put out peanut butter and jelly and a fruit plate and a little snack before the game, and then we give them a postgame spread.
Man, I'd play just for the peanut butter and jelly.
Hey, there you go. Hey. Yeah.
Well, one of the things about the San Rafael Pacifics to me that is intriguing too is that because you're not affiliated with the major leagues, you have to play in a small league, and now you play. It's basically the Bay Area. You have a team, was it Vallejo, one in Pittsburgh, which is over near the Delta. For those that are not familiar with the San Francisco Bay Area, Pittsburgh is a small town on the way to Sacramento on the Delta, and then you have a team up in Sonoma County.
That's your spin-off team, is it,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So how does that
And
work?
I think everybody knows about Sonoma County.
Yeah, it used to be the
Yeah.
Sonoma Grapes, which I thought was a great name.
Now it's the Sonoma. What is it?
Stompers.
Stompers. So pretty much the
Just
same.
like
They're,
the Grapes, yeah.
yeah, they're
Well,
stomping
if
the
you
grapes.
remember, before what was it last year that they had was the 2 teams, right? One from Hilo and one from Maui, and Mike and I were talking about that. How expensive is that to fly these guys in? I know they would stay for a period of time, and then same thing, you guys would go over there.
Well, I mean, as the guy who wrote the checks, I can tell you it was enormously expensive. We had a meeting. All the teams met at the end of the year and agreed that it probably didn't make sense to keep going over to Hawaii every year. And give credit where it's due. The owner of those 2 Hawaii teams said, I get it, I understand. And then he took over ownership of the Vallejo team, so he's staying in the league.
Oh wow! Okay.
That's
And those guys who were in Hawaii, were they able to get another couple of teams there to kind of make a foursome?
No, not. I mean, they could potentially in the future, but we were lucky enough that we've got 2 or 3 of the players from the Maui team, and particularly our ace of our staff is a guy named Jesse Smith, who was a very high Angels prospect a few years ago, and Jesse was the guy who beat us in the championship game from Maui, and I swore he would never beat me again.
That's how you do it. It's
So
like,
I signed him.
Yeah.
That
What are the-
happens a lot.
One of the great challenges, though, Mike faces is he is in an area, Marin County, which is just north of San Francisco. You've got the San Francisco Giants to the south, the Oakland A's to the east, and both those teams are having great years, and they're putting great products on the field, and you're offering minor league baseball, so you have to make it attractive to just not only the local community, but just to fans in general. How do you do that other than promotions? What
I'll
other
tell you
things?
what.
Yeah.
Answer that question when
Be
we come back
interesting.
from break because we were talking about that before. You gotta get
When we come back,
when we come back.
Mike
Okay.
will answer.
Okay, here's the second trivia question. Again, the theme is the movie Major League. What does Serrano want for extra power before the final game? The first 3 emails with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. The answer to this question. In the movie Major League, what does Serrano, remember him? Okay, he was the guy who couldn't hit the curveball. Want for extra power before the final game. I love that movie.
Yeah.
All right, don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
The name of that actor, he's from the Bay Area.
It's Dennis Haysbert.
My
Was
father-in-law.
President Palmer in the
Yeah.
That's exactly
in
right.
the 24.
My father-in-law and
French,
him were
Jack
high
Bauer
school,
24?
Classmates.
Huh.
Down
Now
in
he does the
Minnesota.
insurance commercials.
Yeah.
For,
that's right.
Is it not Nationwide?
Allstate?
Allstate.
Yeah.
He does the Allstate commercials.
Is
The
he
black
the-
guy. The
the-
big
the-
guy.
Big
Yeah.
guy. He's a big
That's
guy.
the same guy?
That's Dennis
Yeah.
Haysbert.
Yeah. That's the same guy.
Oh my God, I wouldn't put those two
Yeah,
together.
25 years ago you're talking about.
I know.
Did you ever watch 24?
See, that one I haven't.
This-
Believe it or not, I haven't.
Wow,
I've
wow.
never seen that. But my wife and I started getting into the one Revenge.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
I'm like Mike.
First
here.
couple of years were really
No,
strong.
I don't. I miss all the TV because I'm always
At
been at the
ballpark.
ballpark. Yeah. all
Now
these
I'm,
years,
now I'm watching House of Cards now.
yes.
Oh,
Okay,
that's great.
Yeah.
I'm on.
It's only
I
26
binge.
episodes,
I
though.
binge watched the first season, and now I'm on like the 5th episode of the second season.
There you go.
Well, let me tell you though,
Go ahead,
on
go ahead.
Netflix,
Yeah.
and once you go through the American version, there's a British version of House
Really?
of Cards that the
Wow.
American version was based on.
Interesting.
That's true.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we've been through both of them.
Yeah, my wife suddenly goes, I hate Kevin Spacey. Good actor.
Well, it's just episode by episode, I walk away thinking, am I supposed to like him? I mean,
Well,
right.
You know what though? They add some stuff toward the end. That's just
And then
like,
Claire,
oh,
God,
yeah.
I like her. She's, one series she's just cold and ruthless. The other one, she's, vulnerable.
They
I just,
prefer to yell
Kind
Red
of a
Force
good
One,
actress,
but she's not
or
doing
actress.
it.
but boy,
Yeah.
man,
What was the question you asked again that I didn't
they
answer?
manipulate the system.
Some of the things you have to do besides,
right.
promoting, just to get them. And you kind of touched on it. You
I'll
touched
lead
on it.
into
Yeah.
your question there.
Yeah.
Here, I'll have you lead into it. All right, you ready? Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Vern, stop yawning. I'm with Vern Glenn. And
We should tell everybody, Vern's got 3 boys, and they're busy. I mean, and he works full time.
No wonder he's yawning.
Yeah, I got a full-time job, and then I got a non-paying job outside of work where I produce and shoot and edit this. I'm just round the clock doing something.
Always busy. Always
Yeah.
busy. Okay, when we cut to the second commercial break, we asked this trivia question. Again, the theme is the movie Major League. What does Serrano, if you remember him, he's a big power hitter and couldn't hit a curveball. Remember, you get that little voodoo doll guy?
Yeah.
Remember? What did he want for extra power before the final game? Does anybody remember?
Something to drink, I think. It wasn't
No,
a
remember,
smoke.
that was
Something
something
a chicken bone?
Yeah,
Chicken
it was a
bones.
live chicken.
A live chicken?
That's
He
right.
needed a live chicken. Very good. Mike.
Dennis Haysbert was the is the
Dennis
actor?
Haysbert
Yeah.
from East Palo Alto.
Yes, that's right. There you go.
That'll make you get big and strong. Come from East Palo Alto
Yeah.
for all you people who don't know out there. Bruce, before we cut the break, you
Yeah.
were asking a question.
Well, we talked about this earlier with Mike about how you have to be proactive and get people involved. And it seems like, Mike, you've had a lot of good promotions, but how do you bring people in? How do you get the Pacifics out into the community so that people know about what's going on? Because you've been around 3 years now. You're starting to get, you have been getting decent crowds, but what's the key to success? How do you make it a family-friendly thing?
Well, the first answer I'd give to that is where you led in before the break was we don't view ourselves as competitive with either the Giants or the A's or even Sacramento. Folks are going to go to those games no matter what, and the price point, the ease of access, all of the reasons of going to a major league game don't necessarily apply to us. We view ourselves, if anything, more competitive with the movie theater or the bowling alley, where the family of four can go out for less than $100, whereas the family of four going to a major league game is going to probably spend more like $400 or $500.
I know. You've never seen Vern eat hot dogs.
I can pack it away.
Well, I always tell.
But I'm no Joey Chestnut.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. 69.
61 and change this year.
So that's the first step. In the economics of independent, particularly low independent ball, is to understand who you are and what role you play, and the scale of your business, which is nowhere, not even within light years of what major league teams go through, and then you have to capture your core fan base and then expand that every year, and we're looking for it's the proverbial family four that we were talking about, who wants to come out and have a good time and have some hot dogs, beer, watch a game. The kids. One of the big things that we've done is we've created our own little wiffle ball field and a speed pitch game, and give the kids something to run around and do, and then come up with some engaging promotions. And
and we all love going to the major league games, but then I think about it in comparison to the minor league that in our own hometown here. Parking is really easy. In fact, I take my motorcycle and just kind of drive down there. The weather's good, and
See how he works that in? What a man. Oh, my motorcycle.
Okay,
Take my hog.
It's my hog. It's a 150 scooter, all right? It's my little midlife crisis. But how much does it cost to go to a game?
So a ticket in our beautiful old bandbox grandstand is $10.
$10, that's an outrage I won't stand for. You'll hear from my attorney.
$10, parking's free. It's right across the street, and all the prices are scaled down. This is not going to break the family budget for
not a $25 hot dog.
No, hot dog's $5.
Wow.
And good hot dogs. So I have to say this, and we don't need to mention it, but I'm going to mention it anyway. I worked with Mike last year. We had an internet radio station, and I was the play-by-play announcer. So I got free food, which was great. And his wife is, believe me, she does a great job. She has like 3 or 4 helpers, but she's doing most of the work. And that's the thing. It's a family business, and you also have other people. Is Eugene still involved?
Yeah, absolutely. He's my partner.
Yeah, Eugene Lepario, who's a local businessman, and it's not easy starting this thing up. I know it was a labor of love because you're not making a killing doing this, Mike.
You guys ever kick back around a boardroom with a 6-pack and try and come up with ideas like, let's have Teddy Roosevelt night, and you.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do.
Wear a handlebar mustache.
Yeah, or they had
in an eyepiece.
Is that what Milwaukee did with the sausage run?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely exactly what we do. In the off season, we'll sit around and start throwing around ideas, and like I tell the staff, no idea is too stupid for me, and that's how you come up with ideas like putting your players in dresses.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, because I've gone to a few games, and the thing that's really fun is that of course you're not going to see famous baseball players, but you're going to see good baseball. And like when I was coaching girls softball, it was amazing how exciting some of those games are. The girls, they can only play at a specific level when they're 10, 11, 12, and of course they wouldn't let me coach anymore after they all cried when I'd yell at them. No, I was a good coach, But the thing is, watching the games, there's been some really exciting plays, great diving catches, and that. So you get to see play that is fairly comparable to what you'd see on the Giants or the A's.
Well, these guys are professional baseball players, and most of them, and I'd have to say almost all of them, have been up to at least single A, double A level. So they were all prospects at one point. Okay. And what I've found, the biggest difference, and I've been asked this many times, is what's the difference between your players and major league players? And there's 5, 6 different tools that a player needs to have. A good arm and
endurance.
Well, that's another one. But speed, power, whatever. And I find that at the independent level, some of these guys who have sort of been up there but have worked their way back down, there's a tool missing somewhere. Or there's just the guy's a great fielder, but he's got a weak arm, or he's got a great arm, but he can't hit the curveball.
How much of it is the head game? Because sometimes you look at these players, they have so much talent, but gosh darn it, they can't get their heads.
The game upstart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I haven't experienced that as much. I have to tell you. I mean, I think that we've had a couple players here and there who've been head cases, if you will, but by and large, most of the guys are there because they they're playing for the love of the game.
Sure.
These guys know where they are. They know they're in the lowest level of professional baseball, pretty much, that you can find, and they all know the reasons why they're there.
Well, a guy who's 35 is not expecting to go up.
No.
No.
And there are guys who are there because they're trying to show their skills off so that they can go up.
Sure.
There's guys who've already been up and they know why they're down, and it's not like anybody's fooled by where they are.
Okay, and you don't covet those players where you're afraid to lose them to going up the ladder.
Well,
right?
I tell every player I sign that if there's an opportunity for them to move up the ladder, I will rip up their contract, and I've done it many
That's
times.
great.
Yeah, absolutely. We know what we're all about. We're about trying to give these guys another chance, and I've had a player recently who had an opportunity to move up, and I said, do it, man.
Yeah.
Go for it.
See, this is different than, let's say, the high school coach who has an ego, who wants to win all the time. Could be because of his own job, and so his star pitcher, blows out his arm because he's pitching him too much. Here, you don't have that kind of issue.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, we want to win.
Of course,
But we want to do it in a way that's respectful to the game of baseball.
Yeah.
And as much as the players know the reason why they are where they are, we know why we are where we are, and what role we serve in the continuum of the game of baseball. And listen, don't forget, just a few years ago, Sergio Romo was in this league, and Daniel Nava with the Red Sox was in this league. So it's good for everybody to have the Sergio Romos or the Daniel Navas because it raises awareness and it raises the level of play.
Speaking of raising awareness, I just did a story for the CBS affiliate here on a fellow named Jesse Garcia, who's also in this league. He pitches for the Sonoma Stompers, and this guy had cancer in his left foot. He thought it was plantar fasciitis and just treated it as such. It never got better, and then when he had it looked again, they said it was cancer. It's a rare form of cancer that strikes young men, and it got him, and it killed his baseball career. He was out a good 2 years. But this independent league gives him another chance to try to build back his strength and maybe get another look. He's a young guy in his 20s.
Well, and there's another story, that guy that made the movie about, starring Dennis Quaid a few years ago, who pitched for Tampa, who I think was about 40 years old and I think he was a high school coach and he was pitching in the summer independent league. The rookie, I can't remember the guy's name, but he pitched. Morris. He had actually had a very respectable year in the major leagues.
Yeah.
So these things can happen. Definitely. It's an amazing thing. And that's the fun, I would think that's the fun, one of the fun sidelights to all this, Mike, is the fact that you do have a chance to be a part of that.
Well, yeah, and to me, it's in a way, it's like playing general manager fantasy camp. I get to play a lot of different roles, as we were talking about earlier, wearing different hats, but one of the hats that I most enjoy is actually having the ability to put a team together and working through all the different permutations of what it takes to create the right kind of chemistry and to access the kind of players that are going to work well together and the best laid plans. I mean, there's always somebody getting called up, or recently one of the great players in our league, a guy named Johnny Woodard, who was highly ranked in the Twins organization at one point. He got a job working with at-risk kids and had to retire. He was the home run champion 2 years in a row. So I'm constantly having to tinker with the makeup of the roster. And wow, how fun is that?
Yeah,
it is. It's general manager fantasy camp.
How much scouting do you do yourself versus having some other, like some of the coaches?
Well, our manager Dan DePace has been in independent baseball for a long time. Has a lot of connections. Knows of a lot of players. We during the winter go down to Palm Springs, where there's a California Winter League, where a lot of promising young players are playing to get seen. So yeah, I mean, between people I know and referrals I get, and the folks that Danny DePace knows, we can gather a pretty good team, and we get cold calls all the time, and scouts are always contacting us.
And you don't trade players in between your teams, do you?
Sure, we trade all the time. I mean, it helps that I own two of the teams.
Yeah, one of the guys you
stack one of them.
Mike traded a player last year that was still working for him in the front office, who still works for you in the front office.
Yeah, we had a player who was a great local hero here in San Rafael. made it all the way up to the College World Series when Fresno State won that year, and had played for us for the first year and a half and wasn't happy with his playing time. He was working in the front office selling sponsorships as well as playing for the team, and I said, sure, you want me to trade you? I'll get you some more playing time. So I traded him to another team, but he still works for me.
And he also, by the way, hit the first home run in your team's history. As a matter of fact, did 2 that night, didn't he? 2 years ago.
Opening night.
Steve Detweiler.
And,
Great guy.
And speaking of Jesse Garcia, I mean, Jesse played for the Sonoma Grapes in 2012, which is another team we owned, and then came up to the Pacifics, played for the Pacifics, and then this year I traded him up to the Stompers. And so, you know, it's a family.
That's cool. Well, Mike Shapiro from the San Rafael Pacifics minor league baseball team.
And should mention also, Mike played baseball, so maybe that's part of the reason you're still involved, because you're just a lifer, aren't you?
It's in the blood.
What level did you play?
So I played at Georgetown University and then moved up. I myself played independent league ball for all of 8 games before I got released because I am short and left-handed. No place to play.
Nothing wrong with being short.
But your center fielder is short and left-handed. He's pretty good.
Yeah, but he has talent.
Being left-handed, though, that can be an advantage.
Not if you're short, it isn't.
Oh, okay.
The Georgetown
What
Hoyas.
position did you play?
Center field.
Yeah, I can see that could be kind of tough. Okay, here's
Ever go to the Tombs?
Wait,
You're kidding me, Vern. You're speaking my language.
Oh,
wait,
man.
We'll get into that.
Vern's an East Coast guy. He knows what we're doing.
Notorious bug.
Okay, hold on. Got to get to the last trivia question here. Okay, what was the name of the character played by Wesley Snipes in the movie Major League? That's an easy one.
come
Okay,
on.
the first 3. I know we have to ask one really easy question.
That was just a grapefruit-sized pitch right down the middle.
Well, every once in a while we
Holy
got to make
smoke.
you guys kind of happy.
Get it out, Vern.
Okay, what was the name of the character played by Wesley Snipes in the movie Major League? Don't touch that dial. When Sports Econ 101 comes back, we're going to have some closing comments.
The Tombs.
The Tombs.
I could go for a burger, some steak
man.
fries,
So
and a
this is
beer
in
right
DC?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on the Georgetown campus. In fact,
You walk in and you got to
You
go
go
downstairs, and it's in there. It's
so I was in the school of
wooden
foreign.
panels everywhere.
Yeah,
Booths.
it's just as traditional as you can get.
Fabulous.
With the crew oars on the wall.
Oh,
So the
nice.
I was in the School of Foreign Service at Georgetown, and that was right across the street from the Tombs. So I had a really, really rough time with school.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
you didn't even have to even look at the menu. You knew it.
No. Yeah.
And how far is Georgetown from the actual, the
Like
capital?
downtown.
It's right there. It's
It's,
like
it's right in the heart of DC.
I mean,
It's
without traffic, you can get
it'd
there
be like
in 10
it'd
minutes.
be like College Marin to here.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's
That's
right
right.
there.
nice.
Yeah.
And with traffic, 4 hours.
Yeah, that's right. But
Well, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I grew up in Richmond with UVA, and spent a summer '83. I had an internship at Channel 9.
Oh, okay. So you knew all about it.
Yeah. Glenn Brenner.
You had fun?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Everybody always has fun.
We always have a good
Talk
time here.
baseball? Come on.
Yeah, man. You know, we should have God, we got it. Of course, I'm saying it, almost 2 years too late, but we should have had like a Wall of Fame thing where everybody signs.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
God, that's what Ron Barr does.
Really?
Like a specially made Sports Econ 101 banner. Like,
Well, we've been around for
and
just
just-
about a year, and
Yeah.
maybe I can get some of these guys back.
Just start
you know?
doing it.
Of course, I
But you get a lot of them on the phone, too.
Yeah, some of them on the
Yeah,
phone. I
yeah.
gotta get Sid Breen to sign it and then send it back.
yeah,
there you go.
yeah.
Okay. Since we only have just a real quick minute, I'm just gonna really quickly just talk a little bit about world soccer, just because Germany is just absolutely destroying.
I watched the
themselves.
first 20 minutes. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like 3 goals and
Four
6 minutes.
goals, 5-0 after
Yeah, but by the time this airs, the other game would have been played.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
true.
tomorrow. Which is
Argentina,
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Netherlands, Argentina.
That's okay. We can still just talk about.
Yeah.
I
Sure,
mean,
sure,
we're
sure.
only talking for a minute, literally.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time, I'm Edward Brown, your host.
I'm
Last time
Vern
just for the
Glenn.
show.
Don't ever say last time. You're scaring
Well, I
me.
don't know.
Yeah,
Mike here was giving away cemetery
I've
plots.
been in
so-
broadcasting a long time. When they say last time, it means you're out the door. You're fired.
Okay, just last time for the show. Here was the third final trivia question. What was the name of the character played by Wesley Snipes in the movie Major League? Anyone?
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Willie
Yeah.
Mays Hayes.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Very
There
good.
you go.
Okay, well, it wouldn't be an entire sports show if we didn't at least talk about how Germany just destroyed
Poor Brazil. Well, you know, when Neymar is out, their star player, and something was missing. Obviously, more
Wait a
than
minute,
something.
World War? Oh, the soccer game.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, what did they score? 4 goals in 6 minutes?
5 goals.
5 goals
in the first half.
In the first
The
half.
first
but
half,
Yeah, but
yeah.
there was like 3 or 4 goals
Yeah.
in like 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Germany sending a message.
The Blitzkrieg. Oh, that's not. No, that's bad. That's bad.
That's a little
Sorry.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay, here's our thoughts for the day. A man in Mississippi was briefly imprisoned for sorcery in 1884 after throwing a curveball at a county fair.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look what he
Oh,
did with
that's
that
a good
ball.
Exactly.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
a witch. Burn him.
and hockey legend Gordie Howe suffers from cryophobia, the extreme fear of cold and ice. And that's probably what made him so fast on the ice.
Wow.
He was trying to get away from it, right? That's kind of wild.
That is wild.
Okay, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be giving away how many? 9 more free vacations for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. We want to thank our guest, Mike Shapiro from the Santa Fe Pacific.
Let me applaud that.
Yes, yeah,
Very
for,
nice.
for being on the show. Very, very fun show. We learned a lot about minor league baseball, all the ins and outs, and how much money there is or isn't in it.
How much fun there is.
Yeah, lots of fun, though.
Yeah.
I gotta say, sounds like a lot of fun. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.